I'm Dan Drake. This is Front Up on Geno TV and Channel 99. Our guest today is Regina Jorgenson, the astronomer at the Maria Mitchell Association.
That's right.
Welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
We have an upcoming event that we want to talk about, and
Yeah.
it's not a benefit or anything like that.
That's
it is
right.
truly a extraterrestrial event, right?
Yep, definitely. Yeah.
And it is a solar eclipse.
That's right.
Tell us about it.
Yeah, so it's going to be on August 21st of this year. And what this means is that there's a very special alignment of the sun, earth, and moon. And such that the moon will basically be coming directly in between the sun and the earth, and such that it will be causing a shadow on the earth. And if we happen to be in that shadow, then we'll see what's called a total solar eclipse, which means that for some very brief period of time, the entire disk of the sun will be covered by the entire disk
seconds,
of the moon.
right? Or
that
minutes?
will be, a matter of minutes. If you're in totality, it's about 2 minutes, depending on where you are, up to almost 3 minutes at the maximum. But in order to experience that, you have to be in the path within this 70-mile wide path of totality.
Okay.
The eclipse will start basically over here in Oregon. It goes through Salem, Oregon, and then it travels across the United States and out South Carolina. So this path of totality is about
70-mile wide.
70 miles wide, that's right. And so basically you have to be in this red line here in order to see totality. Now, anywhere in the continental US will actually see a partial eclipse. So everyone, no matter where you are on August 21st, will be able to experience something, but you won't see totality unless you're in this path. So a couple things are going to happen. First of all, it's predicted that millions of people are going to be traveling to this path. So on the day of the eclipse, which is August 21st.
Stay away from South Carolina.
You might want to be very careful about your travel plans because they could be thwarted. And if you plan to travel, make sure you do it the day before, or you have a backup plan just in case the traffic really is bad. So that's
one other question about this.
Sure.
How much of the eclipse are we going to see here in Nantucket?
Yeah, so in Nantucket we are up here, and we will see about 70% at the maximum eclipse, which means the disk of the sun will be about 70% covered.
And how long will that last?
So the whole eclipse lasts about 3 hours from start to finish, which means when the disk of the moon just starts to come across the sun, and then it will grow, and then decrease, and that whole event will last about 3 hours.
When it's at its maximum here, it's 70%. How
That's
long?
70% covered. Well, that'll only last for a few minutes. It's basically a progressive process that'll grow, and then decrease in that whole event.
But sometime for a couple of minutes there, it will be at its maximum.
At its maximum, yeah.
As it would be in the total.
Yeah,
in the
and that'll
path.
be around 2:30, if I recall, on Nantucket. So it'll start around 1 o'clock. It's basically 1 o'clock to 4 o'clock or so. And so right in the middle of that time is when you'll be able to see the sort of maximum. But pretty much any time during those 3 hours will be quite cool. So I would advise people to definitely check it out.
Does the temperature drop too?
Not for partial eclipses. So there's a big difference between it being in totality and being in partial. I think with a partial eclipse, you kind of sense that it's a little bit darker, like it's gotten cloudy, maybe even if it's not cloudy. But if you're in totality, it becomes nighttime. So the stars come out, you see, just like it was nighttime, you'd see background stars, the birds kind of freak out because it suddenly became nighttime and they weren't expecting it, the temperature drops, things like that happen, and they happen very quickly and just for a few minutes, so that's why I think it's such an amazing thing to actually experience totality, as well as, you're able to see the outer layers of the sun called the corona, this very, very hot gas that's streaming off of the sun that generally we don't see because the disk of the sun itself is so bright, and so we generally don't see it except during an eclipse, because the disk of the sun is blocked out. You can actually see this hot outer layer.
So are you going to be here or somewhere else?
No, so unfortunately I am actually going to Oregon to observe the eclipse. So it turns out that Oregon was actually predicted to be one of the better potential places for weather. So strangely enough, they actually, on August 21st, somebody looked at